you're trying to cookie people in advance somehow. Like you need them to be cookied before they come to
Correct.
these sites. And then you can say, I know this guy. I know this cookie. I know who this is. They just visited your website.
Yeah, I call them lead gen traps. It's like like a spider with your web, and people
Yeah.
can step on the web, and then when they step on the web, they are identified. That's why you cannot identify everybody. You can identify a portion of the website traffic. One of the things we have done is to improve this identification rate. So we can get up to 80% of identification. So this is not for everyone. Everyone brings the traffic from different places and different
Hmm.
personas. So we managed to get up to 80. The average one that people see is around 60%.
George, welcome to Product Growth Stories. So super happy to have you on the show. And so you've been a developer for quite some time, and then you kind of pivoted into building your own SaaS product. I'd love to hear about it. Like, why did you start Happier Leads?
So we have to go very back in time, and I will
Mhm.
take you even before I become a software developer, so we can show a little bit more of the history, what happened.
Mhm.
So I grew up in Greece. I'm Greek. I live in London for the last 12 years now. But
Yeah.
from the place where I born, there were not a lot of jobs there, like especially around the IT. So I did my master degree, my bachelor degree, and then what I did, I started working as a farmer. Okay,
Mhm.
so I worked 1 year as a farmer because there were not a lot of jobs in the place where I born, and then I realized this is not for me. There should be something more that I can get out of my studies and out of all
Then
of the years.
farming. Yep. That's brutal job.
And
Yeah.
what I did one day, I threw everything and I left to work in London. So back in 2014, I came to London. I got my first job, my first IT job. I started working as a software engineer,
Mhm.
slowly start progressing my career to more team leadership roles. And I did what we call job hopping. That was the number one thing that helped me increase my salary. There is
Mhm.
no other way to increase your salary than just hopping from business to business,
Yep.
especially if you work for too many years. You're not going to get most out of it if you are in the same place. So I started moving across different companies, different roles, different responsibilities. At some point I was more like a team leader, but in the startup world you can become easier as CTO. So I all these responsibilities of having to think about infrastructure, what the big decisions are around that usually you get when you are in the C level. And then I figured it out. I have to do something myself,
Mhm.
and I built Happierleads. Now,
Yeah. So why did you know, with all of your experience, you could have built any type of SaaS product. I'm sure you could have done the technical part of it. So what made you decide to solve this particular problem? Like
so
identifying leads that are coming in.
yeah, so back then I was building other businesses, and the idea came because I saw Clearbit. Clearbit was able to identify the anonymous website visitors, but they had a huge billing. They were charging 20,000, I think, around that a year.
Mhm.
And that was before they get acquired from HubSpot, right? So at the point when I went to a sales call with someone, I was completely bootstrapped all the way from my previous venture, which was a tool for CMS software. And what I realized is there's no way this software, is only for enterprises. So I have to build something like this for the SMBs.
Yeah.
So the idea was around pricing initially. Then it became something else, but initially it became from the fact that I cannot afford this. So there is a lot of other people cannot afford that. So I have to build something that is more affordable for other people. So initially it was pricing, although
Mhm.
pricing is not the only thing you have to go as an entrepreneur to compete with. But
Yeah.
that was the idea. This is what born.
So you're thinking, here's an established business, Clearbit, that sold, but the pricing is enterprise only. But I'm curious, for what you're doing, are there high operational costs in order to track the data back, or can you still keep a healthy SaaS margin if you're going to charge so much lower? Because I believe you don't have tiers in terms of visitors. It's like Very nice entry pricing, right?
Yeah, so I'll tell you how this works usually. So when you grow as a business up to a point, the cost looks significant. Like let's say I started completely brand new business right now, and the initial data it cost me a lot of money to acquire. There is a point
Hmm.
where those data can be automatically reused because now you build up a database with you have all of this data already. You have built the
Yeah.
processes to scrape yourself. You are getting this effect where it kind of flatten out those expenses. And the biggest
Yeah.
expense right now for me is still marketing and advertisement and partnerships and all of these costs that you have to pay to acquire the acquisition cost. It's not so much about the product that costs the money right now. It's more about
Hmm.
the acquisition that always cost money.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And I'm sure you're saying, like, as you add an incremental new customer, the operational costs are not scaling up with each incremental customer because you've already scraped the data on that particular person. And so it starts to get more and more efficient. And
Exactly.
okay. So, well, I know, as just thinking about friends of mine that are, looking into these kinds of products like yours, like Happier Leads, one of the questions that people have are, well, where are you getting your data? Like, is this good data or is it old data or is it really accurate? What do you tell people that ask those kinds of questions about Happier Leads?
So there are a lot of things around the technology that we can discuss about this. There is different
Hmm.
type of technologies, and people don't really understand this. There is something
Hmm.
called reverse IP lookup, which is something that exists for for at least 10 years now. This is the less accurate technology, and this is the technology we still use today for Europe only because in
Hmm.
the Europe you have GDPR and you cannot identify the exact visitors, so you have to identify only the companies. This is why we're using the IP reverse IP lookup. So why it is not accurate as the cookie? Because when you have a building and this building hosts, let's say, 10 different companies, they most of the times are using the same IP address when they are
Hmm.
using the same provider for internet, or when you track them, even when you track them from home, you can have a couple, and these two people can work in completely two different companies, but there is one IP. So there is some ratio of error there. Now,
Hmm.
you shouldn't be afraid of this because I always say, look the forest, not the tree. Like just because, let's say, 10% or 20, even 20% of the data, if they are giving you some errors, if the 80% work, why doesn't matter if you send another 20% of emails, right?
Yeah.
So yes, it is less accurate, the IP reverse lookup. The cookie based is close to 95%. And the cookie based is what, when you go to a visit, when you go to a lead generation, imagine, sorry, a lead magnet, when you go to a lead magnet and you
Hmm.
leave your email, what we do, we save those cookies to your browser. And when you go
Hmm.
to another website, these cookies are with you. So when you are coming through our tracking pixel, then we know who you
Hmm.
are, how we identify you. So this stays within the same browser and the same laptop of the person that is using it. So this is much more accurate than the reverse IP lookup technology.
Yeah, cool. That's fascinating. So that means you're trying to cookie people in advance somehow. Like, you need them to be cookied before they come to
Correct.
these sites, and then you can say, "I know this guy. I know this cookie. I know who this is. They just visited your website."
Yeah, I call them lead gen traps. It's like a like a spider with a with with your web, and people
Yeah.
can step on the web, and then when they step on the web, they are identified. That's why you cannot identify everybody. You can identify a portion of the website traffic. One of the things we have done is to improve this identification rate, so we can get up to 80% of identification. So this is not for everyone. Everyone brings the traffic from different places and different
Hmm.
personas. So we managed to get up to 80. The average one that people see is around 60%.
Got it. Got it. And then how are you acquiring customers? Because I'm imagining, like, at your specific price point, you only have certain options, right? The price kind of dictates what you can do in terms of acquiring customers. I'd love to hear, like, how are you growing happier leads?
So there is two different ways I'm doing this. One
Mm-hmm.
is Google Ads,
Mm-hmm.
which works very good so far. So I'm using competitor keywords. So
Mm-hmm.
we target competitor keywords, and that works really well because it's high intent
Yeah.
signal. And then I'm using also Performance Max. Performance Max can also deliver you very good results over time when the algorithm already knows what converts and what doesn't convert. Then you can get very good results over time if you are consistent and you run it in a way that you don't have a lot of interruptions, you give enough budget
Mm-hmm.
to let it learn. And I'm not doing anything else right now. I'm not doing LinkedIn. I'm also starting to think about LinkedIn. The specific, I don't remember now how this is called. I think it's called Leadership Thoughts or something like this.
Thought leadership ads. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is
Yes.
the next step for me where I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to create posts from myself as a founder-led content, and
Yeah.
I'm going to throw some money so I don't have to wait the organic to do its job, because if you wait,
That's smart. Yes.
yeah, if you wait organically, it can take you years when you really want to do things right now. So I'm looking to spend some money there. I think it will be the best ROI that you can get if you are a founder and you create founder-led content and you just want to expand this by 100 times what you get organically. So the
Mm-hmm.
good recipe for me is I want to create really good content and then throw the money behind that and make this 100 times X my return. And then the other thing I'm doing is email cold outreach, the old traditional cold email that many people say it doesn't work, but it works when you do it on the scale. So I have run more than 5 million emails already sent
Mm-hmm.
to individuals. And I'm trying to even ramp up even harder on this channel because for me personally, since I own already 175 million contacts in my own database, the database that
Yeah.
we actually sell in the leads, it makes
Yeah.
sense. Like there is a flywheel for me. Like every time I get
Absolutely.
a new data in my database, I should use this data because then I can get it much cheaper. Like if you're buying from a third party, you
Yeah.
have to pay for this, right? And another
Yeah.
thing I'm doing, because I don't know if you know a lot about all the features that we have, but one of the features is inbox creation. So when you create your Happierleads account, we
Mm-hmm.
automatically create inbox for you. We connect them to the platform with all email deliverabilities, SPF, DKIM, everything is set up for you. Email warm up, all of it is done automatically. So I'm
Yeah.
selling this as a feature to my clients. So I'm also utilizing this at the same time for my own campaigns. And so that becomes super inexpensive for me. So I'm getting like
Yes.
not
This
I'm
is
getting the retail price, right?
Yeah, that is a very sophisticated funnel. And I love that you're able to basically dog food your own features and then use some of this information you're gathering from all these cookies as a way. You even have their intent. So I don't know if you're able to like customize your emails based on what they were looking for, but that's very cool that you're able
I'm
to
doing
pull
this,
that
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. Wow, that's so cool. So I feel like, yeah, just from hearing you describe this, the sky is the limit for this particular product because this every business could use this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they have the right sales motion in place to actually do something about the leads they're showing more intent, like call them or take the next step. It's really powerful to have that. And, there's other big names, right? So I'm thinking of, you mentioned Clearbit. Who else comes to mind? There's like B2B is the other like founder led similar kind of product that really made a splash. Are you doing things to try to differentiate yourself from these other providers?
Probably it should be the other way around. They should do something different to differentiate from us because RB2P is a newer
Yeah.
company. We are a 7-year-old company, and we did
Yes.
the exact visual identification match before them. So this is an interesting
Uh-huh.
story. I did exact visitor identification in the US 5 years ago, which was much
Hmm.
before RB2P coming into the play. Then I
Oh yeah.
completely
Okay.
removed it from my features because I thought maybe we are doing too much. Then I saw coming in, doing this feature, exact visitors again. I said, okay, we were doing this before years ago, and I thought that we should be more gentle and should only, not track individuals. And then I said, okay, let's bring this back. And not only bring this back, but right now we are doing it for 170 countries. B2B is
Yes.
doing it only for
Just
US.
US.
We are doing it for 100 countries. We can identify the exact visitor. And for Europe only, we again, because of legislation and GDPR, we only identify the company, but we always give you a contact. We give you a suggested contact.
Oh, that's fascinating. So yeah, I could see how, earlier on that might have seemed too aggressive. And then it turns out that's what the market, that's what we all
Yeah,
wanted, apparently. Yeah.
sometimes you see demons yourself
Yeah.
where other people, then you watch other people doing it without any hesitation, and then you realize, okay, maybe I just didn't think about this properly, right? I was first,
Yeah.
but then I just back up because I thought I'm doing too much. And then you see
Hmm.
someone else is doing it without any remorse. And then you say, okay, why I'm just holding myself back? I
Yeah.
should be
Yeah.
more aggressive with this.
So as we wrap up, where do you see like the future of lead gen coming, because you're in the field, and what are you most excited about for Happier Leads?
So everything goes around AI, and I'm building also our MCP servers. They're gonna be ready actually as we speak. Right now, we are deploying them. And those MCP servers will allow you to do everything within your cloud and within your
Hmm.
ChatGPT or any other tool that you are using. And that means you can do queries, you can figure it out ICP, you can send emails, you can do all the marketing in one place. In general, I saw an opportunity with AI myself, and I managed to scale my business in the last year just because of AI, because I was
Hmm.
able to integrate it in all the areas from sales, from marketing, development, in every single department. I was able to integrate the AI. So I think this is the future. And for me specifically, I just have to be honest with you, completely slow down with the product because I already
Hmm.
done too much. I'm able to identify the visitor, qualify them, and send them an email without you having to build anything. So we build all of this by default, and we send also LinkedIn requests as well. So we
Hmm.
already done so much on the product where I'm focusing more on marketing and sales right now. So I'm trying to 10x my business in the next year. And obviously, more ideas will come over and we can figure it out. But right now, product wise, I think I'm like 95% there. So that
Hmm.
5% wouldn't make a lot of difference. But yeah, looking forward on doing more marketing activities.
Cool. Cool. Sounds super exciting. Well, George, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.